All right, we are ready to go with these top stories from across the country. One or two might be repeats from what you've already seen or heard, but important stories nonetheless. This first one, a Brooklyn man shot and killed after desperately trying to escape a group of alleged gang members in East New York. The chase and shooting all caught on camera. Now the NYPD is searching for his killers. Fox's Arthur Chien tells us what police know about the shooting. And thank you all for being patient with my voice while I try to feel a little bit better. I've been a little under the weather this week, so I appreciate your patience and understanding.
I'm pleading to the community. I'm pleading to anyone.
What you were about to see, let me be frank, is graphic.
The surveillance video is from last Tuesday and shows the 21-year-old victim, Tyquan Eversley, walking down the street in East New York, Brooklyn, when a car pulls up with 4 men inside. Police describe what we see next.
Totally unprovoked, our victim, the 21-year-old, is punched in his face. Subsequent to being punched, he runs and the group chases him. And he's literally running from the group, trying to escape further assault.
The video shows Eversley running for his life, chased by 10 men, some on foot, some in a car, all members of one gang, according to police. The victim tries to get into moving cars to escape, but can't get in one, then hides behind this parked car, but is eventually spotted. He runs into the backyard and jumps over a 6-foot fence, his final attempt to escape.
Unbeknownst to our victim, on the other side of that PVC fence is a chain fence with barbed wire on top. The victim gets stuck in the barbed wire.
An individual picks up a boulder, literally, that is about this big, and throws it over the fence at the individual, while a second individual goes up to the white fence, kind of hangs over the fence and shoots over the fence and kills the victim.
At least 10 gang members took part in the cold-hearted and cowardly murder. The NYPD has identified 4 of the 10 and have made the video public to learn as much about the suspects as possible, regardless of which ones they've arrested so far.
Wow, that story definitely getting a lot of attention there. Again, happy Friday, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us. My name is Pilar Arias. President Trump is using the results of the Mueller probe to bash Democrats. At a massive rally last night in Michigan, he went after some of his fiercest critics by name. Doug Luzader is here to get us all caught up with exactly who and what the fallout is.
Well, this was classic Trump last night, traveling to a key swing state and beating up on his opponents.
Basking in the applause and raising his fists, President Trump was hitting campaign stride last night in Michigan and wielding the just completed Mueller report as a weapon.
The collusion delusion is over.
And with a massive crowd, more than 10,000 people, the president used, let's say, colorful language to describe Democrats who are pushing to continue the investigation.
The Democrats have to now decide whether they will continue defrauding the public with ridiculous
In particular, the president had his eyes on Democrats like House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, who sparred with his Republican colleagues who want him to step down as chairman because of his repeated claims that there was evidence of Trump campaign collusion with Russia, something the Robert Mueller investigation reportedly didn't find. And Schiff stands by his claims.
I think it's immoral. I think it's unethical. I think it's unpatriotic. And yes, I think it's corrupt.
We have no faith in your ability to discharge your duties in a manner consistent with your constitutional responsibility and urge your immediate resignation as chairman of the committee.
But Schiff has the support of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who chided Republicans over the issue of releasing the full Mueller report and not just a summary.
I think they're just scaredy cats. They just don't know what to do, so they have to make an attack.
Now, the full Mueller report is pretty long. We're told it's about 300 pages or so, and it is likely we'll see at least some portions of it released next month. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
All right, Doug, thanks so much for that update there. Chicago's mayor not happy with prosecutors' decision to drop charges against Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Rahm Emanuel holding a press conference yesterday demanding Smollett reimburse the city for the resources it spent investigating his claim. Fox's Dane Placco has the story.
Mayor Emanuel visibly angry today as he insists somehow, some way, the city will get its money back from Jussie Smollett.
Given that he doesn't feel any sense of contrition and remorse, my recommendation is when he writes the check, in the memo section, he can put the word, "I'm accountable," for the hoax.
The city's top lawyer sending this letter to Smollett today, demanding $130,106.15, payable by money order or cashier's check. The letter says over 24 detectives and police officers participated in the investigation, ultimately spending weeks investigating your false claims.
He has cost not only the city financially, that's just one element, but also a sense of the wrong he's done by taking advantage of our values as a welcoming city that welcomes people of all walks of life and all backgrounds.
But a spokesperson for the embattled actor says it is the mayor and the police chief who owe him an apology for dragging an innocent man's character through the mud. Jussie is paid enough. Now President Trump promising an FBI and Justice Department investigation via tweet and later to reporters.
I think the case in Chicago is an absolute embarrassment to our country, and I have asked that they look at it.
The mayor telling the president, butt out.
My recommendation is the president go to opening day baseball, sit on the sideline, stay out of this. You created a toxic environment.
If Smollett refuses to pay, the city says it'll take him to court under the false statement ordinance in the municipal code and demand 3 times the amount of cost, which would be nearly $400,000. Dane Placco, Fox 32 News.
All right, that's the latest there out of Chicago on the Jussie Smollett case. Moving along now, police in Austin, Texas make a special delivery to a single mother of 4. Officers say after responding to a call at her apartment, they felt compelled to provide some extra help. Fox's Jennifer Kendall has the story.
I didn't know, people cared that much, and it's beautiful.
On this warm spring day, Austin police dropped off child care items and furniture at Ashley Foxworth's apartment.
We just noticed she could use a hand with some things that were missing inside the apartment that are essential for taking care of children.
The realization that this single mother of 4 could use a little help started weeks ago with a 911 call.
I've been going through a lot for a little over a year now, and that day it all came to a head, and I had my children with me, and I wanted to call somebody. I wanted to talk to somebody.
Officer Francisco Jimenez and Officer Smith did much more than listen.
Officer Smith immediately took it upon himself to start going along inside of the apartment, inventorying all baby care items, started counting formula, diapers, wipes, and everything, and saw that she was low on supplies, and he said, "I'll be back."
After a quick trip to HEB, Smith returned with a trunk full of child care supplies.
I come from nothing. Me and my kids were homeless for a while, and, we're still building. And for people to, help, to have that big of a heart, it means a lot to me.
The officers knew Foxworth had a lot on her plate.
Ashley has 4 young children, and she is working. She is going to school. She has a full-time job, and she's taking care of them and doing it all day and night all by herself.
So Jimenez and Smith rallied the community to collect furniture, books, and stuffed animals for the family, too.
Everybody had a hand in trying to do the best that they could to change her situation and just make it a little bit better.
This time, it was Officer Jimenez who carried the load.
You are protecting, and you are serving, and you're continuing to serve the community. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
A reminder to Ashley that even on the most difficult days, hope is never too far away.
It makes me realize how beautiful humans are, how beautiful people can be, and how people's souls are not as dark as, I thought it was.
Oh, what a heartfelt Friday story to show you here on News Now. By the way, HEB, the local grocery store chain in pretty much the whole state of Texas, except for West Texas, El Paso. It's kind of like an Albertsons, a Fry's, a Kroger, a Safeway, like that, for those of you who didn't know. Remember, I reported in Texas for 5 years, so very familiar. If you ever have any questions about the state, feel free to ask me on the YouTube chat. All right, moving along now with our top stories of the day. As some visitors travel to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Washington, others visit a replica of the wall in Northern California. Fox's Deborah Villallon has a look. And by the way, thank you to your service, for your service to all Vietnam veterans. My father happens to be one. So let's watch this story together.
You are at one with death and walk amongst them.
A design overwhelmingly simple. Names rise from the earth.
But then as you walked back out this other side, you would walk back into the life that is.
It is an exact replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, but 2/3 the size and synthetic granite. The reactions, the same.
Tears and downright crying and sobbing, and folks who haven't been able to approach the wall for 3 days, and on the 4th day they finally get there.
Called The Wall That Heals, it sets up in some 30 cities a year. As soon as it was assembled in Windsor, people came.
I want them to know what happened, because people don't know what happened.
This vet led the effort to bring the wall. He looks back, but also ahead.
I feel sorry for the guys that are coming back now, because they're in worse shape than we were. From the sand wars is what we call it.
55 names from Sonoma County are on the wall, and the big rig that carries the memorial becomes an exhibit with memorabilia people have left at the real wall.
The incredible amount of dog tags. These are the POW MIA bracelets they leave.
Plus photographs of young soldiers, brothers then and now.
Danielle Cost is a classmate.
Some veterans visit this wall whenever they can.
To us, this is like a pilgrimage. We got to remember, you know, they don't teach this in school, and we just got to keep remembering.
Many volunteer as well, spend the night standing guard.
Doing this and volunteering, coming out here and hopefully educating people, you know, makes us feel good about ourselves.
Dan Bullock was the youngest person on the wall.
After 50 years, most people visiting either wall weren't alive during the war, so the challenge is making Vietnam real and relevant.
This guy, Harry, I guess my grandpa grew up with him too. It's kind of cool.
For the children of Vietnam veterans, the wall carries a message.
Will help us and compel us to how we handle things in the future and realize that people are currently serving and how we can help them when they come home and not have that disassociation and provide a constant link.
Oh, another great story to bring you all today on this Friday on News Now. I happened to visit the wall in Washington, D.C. in 1997 with my father, and it was quite the experience. So if you happen to be in Northern California or happen to be at a location where the replica, the traveling wall happens to be, might be something you want to check out. All right, well, personally, I'm waiting for Aladdin this summer, the remake. I cannot wait. I am a huge Disney fan, but anticipation and excitement is building for the latest live-action film. You saw it earlier, News Now at the movies, telling the tale of an adorable elephant who can fly. Jeff Paul has more from the cast of the big screen blockbuster. Can you guess it? Yeah, it's Dumbo.
Welcome, baby Dumbo.
Inspired by the 1941 classic, Disney's latest live-action adaptation tells the tale of Dumbo, the lovable elephant born with extremely big ears who becomes a sensation when he learns to fly.
You have magic.
Whoa! Directed by Tim Burton, the kid-friendly adventure stars Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Colin Farrell, and Eva Green. The cast says they could relate to many of the themes.
Disney movies always set a very simple fable in a kind of a nicely, you know, package. And so for me, those themes were exactly right. That's what Dumbo symbolizes, you know. A little creature doesn't quite fit in.
Feeling good about yourself, finding out who you are, understanding how you can take that step forward and live your life in the best way possible.
He doesn't look like magic to me. I've got messages that I want my children exposed to as well, because life will tell them how cruel it is. It's nice to see that there's another way.
It's about standing up for what's right, you know, standing up against bullies.
So how did they get an elephant to fly? CGI helped to create Dumbo, along with some visual assistance.
Right camera. There was a couple of actors who came in and doubled or portrayed, I should say, Dumbo. A gentleman by the name of Ed Osmond, who was extraordinary.
We had Tim sometimes, who was playing Dumbo, so lots of different options.
You can do it, Dumbo.
In Hollywood, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
Not going to lie, I think they may have just convinced me. What do you all think? You planning on seeing the film? All right, we are back live in Times Square, New York City, where it looks like it's pretty late in the day, pretty dark, but it's only 3:17, so perhaps all the buildings are blocking all the sun. Maybe it's a little cloudy out there. Regardless, still plenty of tourists, locals alike, because, you know, people do work in Times Square and live in the vicinity, so it's not all tourists. Hey, if any news breaks across the country, we'll bring it to you right here on News Now. Meanwhile, please like, share, subscribe. Again, we appreciate you being here. My name is Pilar Arias. I'll be with you until 1:30 Arizona time, so a little more than an hour. Mike Pace will then rejoin you until 4 o'clock Arizona time, and then I'll be taking the stream all the way until 8 p.m. tonight. So again, happy Friday. Glad that you are here, and it could be Friday. I might happen to find some animal-related stories that I can share with you all later. But again, thanks for being here.